What's going on YouTube? It is Repulse back in another video. In today's video, we have our match review for Chelsea Brentford. Match actually happened on Saturday. It is now Tuesday, but figured I'd get it out to y'all later than ever. We do have our match against Bayern Munich. Preview is going to be out very soon, pretty much right after this. So you're pretty much getting a double upload today, or maybe the Bayern Munich one comes out tomorrow morning. I don't know. I'll figure that out in a little bit. But for today, we have our match review for Chelsea 2, Brentford 2. Brentford scored the first goal with Kevin Schade, I think in the 35th minute, pretty much a transition goal similar to the Josh King one against Fulham. Same thing, Towson just doesn't close him down or anything like that. He's able to just slot it into the corner. One-on-one, Towson doesn't close down. Robertson just can't really do anything about it. Brentford go 1-0 up. Cole Palmer gets subbed on in the 55th, 56th minute, something like that. Scores in the 61st to make it 1-1. Caicedo scores in the 85th. And then Brentford scores in the 90 plus 3 or 90 plus 4 to make it 2-2 on a goal that should have been disallowed due to offside. But we know that VAR is against us now because the whole Josh King thing. So, can't really argue with them too much. Yeah, definitely should be a 3-point game, especially after Caicedo went up 2-1. Our fault too for letting the ball get that far in the box after, a long throw like that. Defense really needs to head the ball away there, but just weren't able to. They were able to tap it in, but again, should have been disallowed. Should have been a 2-1 victory for Chelsea, but whatever. It's 2-2. Chelsea end on 8 points after the first four matches in the Premier League. Have Manchester United this weekend in the Premier League, and as well as Bayern Munich tomorrow, as I just talked about. But yeah, let's get into this game. The good, the mid, and the ugly. Starting off with the good. We have um, Enzo Fernandez. I thought was great. I thought him and Caicedo were really, really solid in the midfield. They were our two midfield players today, with Hato taking up the number 10 spot with Buonanotte. But I thought, they were both very, very good in their respective positions. I thought Enzo looked a lot more fit this game than he did the previous three, to be honest. I thought he put in a decent performance against West Ham, but I think this was his best performance altogether this season in this match against Brentford. So, that's why it places him in the good category. Caicedo, just a machine, was able to, distribute the ball very well, also intercept the ball very well, also scored a goal. So, fair enough. Absolute screamer from, I think, right outside the box. Maybe it was inside the D or something like that, or right outside the D. I don't recall, but just absolute belts it into kind of the middle left hand side of the net, but I'd say top left corner just for, why not? But the pace on that strike was absolutely immense, so fair play to Caicedo. Should have had the winner, just defense wasn't there for him. Cole Palmer was absolutely excellent today. Easily our second best player of the game, even though he only came on in the 56th minute, scored a goal, had multiple shots on target. Should have had a second, but Kelleher made a great save. And I think Cole Palmer expected it to just be an easy tap in, which wasn't. Which allowed it to be an easier save for Kelleher than it should have been, but it was still pretty difficult save. So fair play to Kelleher on that. Cole Palmer definitely should have done better there, but did score a goal. Very, very influential in the way he played, or way we played once he came on. Just really look back to him, to his, start of last season's self in this game against Brentford. So hopefully he continues that for him. I do fully expect him to play tomorrow against Bayern Munich. Again, match preview on that will be out very soon, where I put in the lineup and sneak peek, 3 out of these 4 players on the screen will be there. And then Alejandro Garnacho I thought was good when he came on. Only played 15 minutes or so, but main reason why Caicedo was able to get his second goal. Also main reason that Brentford scored just wasn't guarding his back post for some reason. I don't know if they don't teach that at Man United or what, but attacking wise, he was very, very solid today. Took on his man a lot, was able to, bypass down the line, showed great effort attacking wise. So I definitely think he had a good performance in that game. I thought he could have had an assist with Cole Palmer chance after Kevin Schade scored. It just bounced. It was a little too difficult for Cole Palmer to deal with. He ends up not really skying it over the bar, but looping it over the bar. But yeah, I thought Garnacho was bright coming on. I told most of you all I wasn't a fan of bringing him in, but he looked very, very solid in the game against Brentford. So fair play to Chelsea if he does end up working out here. I think, definitely could have got credited with the assist for Caicedo's goal, but bounced off a Brentford player, sadly. So won't count in that regard, but thought he was very good in the game against Brentford. If we go to the mid category, we have Reece James and Cucurella. I thought they were just a little bit flat when they came on. Obviously, both in international duty played a lot of minutes. Only got 30 minutes in the game, so I couldn't really put them in the good category because they didn't have a Cole Palmer like impact or Alejandro Garnacho like impact. And we did concede a goal after they did come on, so there's that. I thought they definitely could have had better performances today. Just didn't really solidify us. I think they came on at halftime or near there, but um, weren't bad by any stretch of the imagination. I wasn't gonna say it was a bad performance by them. I just don't think they were up to their standard level. But Cucurella, again, probably a 7 out of 10 instead of a 8.5, 8 out of 10 that he usually is at. Same with Reece James, so that's why they end themselves in the mid category. Bonanate had his debut for Chelsea in the game against Brentford started. Is now actually a part of the Champions League squad, so maybe we can see him against Karabag or Paphos or something like that. But didn't think he was bad. I just think needed to shoot a little bit more. Also needed to find a little bit more. But I understand playing conservative in your first start for a major club like Chelsea, so I'm not really gonna hold that against him too much. He is young. He is on loan at the end of the day, so I'm not really gonna harp him on his performances. And I definitely think he was a lot better than some of the players out on that pitch today. So that's why, or not today, on Saturday. So that's why he ends himself on that mid category. Joe Pedro, I also thought was a little mid, but I think this was more Maresca's fault than his fault. Ended up playing left wing, ended up playing 9, ended up playing the 10. So Maresca hadn't played 3 positions throughout the game, so it's a little difficult to acclimate to that, whoever you are. It's never going to be easy. And then comes off for Garnacho, I believe, was a substitution for João Pedro, but able to get an assist for the Cole Palmer goal, kind of just heads it down to him. Cole Palmer slots it into the bottom left corner. But yeah, I definitely thought he could have had a better impact on the game, playing in that 10 position. Um, as well as out on that left wing when Tyreek George did come on. But you know, ends up getting an assist, pretty much getting a goal contribution nearly every single game, as well as 2 out of 4 games getting a goal. So, there's that. I think he's definitely been a bright spot for Chelsea this season, probably our player of the season so far. But maybe Cole Palmer starts to kick on and takes that title away from him, or Cucurella, or Caicedo. Caicedo's been absolutely excellent to start the season, but these 4 players all not bad by any means. I'd say a solid 6 out of 10, 7 performances for them. But not to the standard of these guys. So that's why they're in the mid category. Head on to the ugly category. We have Robert Sanchez. I thought his distribution was very poor in this game against Brentford. It's poor when the opposition starts, saying "whoa" before you throw the ball or kick the ball out. You can tell his distribution was not great in this game. Gittins and Hato just looked very, very raw. Um, don't really want to be too harsh on them because obviously they're brand new signings, and Gittins was expected to be raw as well as Hato only being 19 years old. But the performance level, just you could tell there was a drastic drop off between Gittins and Esteval, or Gittins and Neto, as well as Hato and Cucurella. But to be fair, Cucurella is one of the best left backs in the world, definitely top 3 and definitely the best in the Premier League. So it's a little tough stick for Hato. I don't think he was absolutely awful, but I definitely think he's a lot to improve on. Towson just big bystander for that goal. Really, really needed to close down on the ball. Didn't really do too much to deal with it, and that's why Brentford were able to go 1-0 up and pretty much um, see the game out. Yes, we did go 2-1 up, but it always seemed like that game was going to end in a draw, especially after Brentford scored that first goal. So Towson was the main catalyst for that. That's why he ends himself in the ugly category, because I definitely think he needs to do better defensively. But one of the main reasons why we're able to link up play so well. So, definitely not a too bad performance, but not a good or mid performance at all. I definitely think he rightfully deserves an ugly next to him, as well as Gittins. I just definitely think he needs to up his IQ, up his decision making, as well as just taking on defenders and using that athleticism to his benefit. And then Hato, I just think Maresca's asking him to do something that's a little too extravagant for a 19-year-old left back who pretty much played a traditional role in the Dutch league to do. I definitely think Maresca needs to use him a little wiser, but yeah, he ends himself in the ugly category. But yeah, that is everything. It's a short and sweet video. Again, 9 minutes talking about Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. Again, Kevin Shota, and then was it the new signing Ouattara for Brentford in the 90+4? I don't recall, but um, Chelsea scored 2 goals with a Cole Palmer tidy finish at the bottom left corner, and then the Caicedo screamer into the top left corner. Um, and should have won the game. VAR controversy. Let me know if y'all think it was offside down in the description. But yeah, that is everything. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. As I said earlier, there is going to be a not a Brentford versus Chelsea match preview. That game just happened. No, not Brentford. Brentford is out the equation. A Bayern versus Chelsea match preview is going to be out soon. Sorry. First game in the Champions League. First game for Chelsea back in the Champions League since Real Madrid knocked us out 4-0 on aggregate at 2, no, well, I guess 3 years ago at this point. But Yeah, match preview on the Bayern versus Chelsea match will be out soon. If you did enjoy this video, again, please be sure to like, subscribe, and as always, it's Repulse, and I'm out. Thanks again for watching. Peace.